Let's get on with the details now. There are increasing calls for government to subject the new double-track policy to public discourse and allow for wider consultation. These demands are born out of what appears to be confusion in the minds of some Ghanaians on how government intends to implement the policy expected to be rolled out in the next 2 months. Ifua Evans-Chinere has been speaking with some parents and students here in Accra.
Government is finalizing steps to start the double-track system to boost enrollment under its flagship, the free senior high school education. This system puts both teachers and students into 2 different tracks. So whilst the first track is in school, the other track is on vacation. Now, this has caused a lot of confusion amongst people, especially parents. I'm here to speak to some of these parents as well as students to find out if they understand the system, and if they do, what does it mean to them?
Not really. Not really. This morning I heard on radio that there's going to be 3 months off and then 3 months in. And then to me, I don't think it would help, because let's say I have my friends with me and then I'm going for 3 months and then they are staying in home. At the end of the day, they're going to be lazy. You see, there is social media, and most of them will be on social media, Instagram, Snapchatting, and all that, which wouldn't help. So this is the case. I come to school for 3 months, and then I go for vacation. I'll be at home, and then my other friends will be in school. To me, it doesn't make sense.
The double-track system, I think it will help in a bit, because as there are more students coming in, our schools are accumulating more students, and therefore to put more pressure on the school system, its teachers, most of its infrastructure. But I think it's a good idea.
For me, I think it's a good initiative, because looking at the past years, students do not get ample time to do their personal studies. But here's the case: we get a long vac, which is more than a month. So with this month, we can venture into other fields apart from the class, and we will be able to do the practical aspect of the theory we get in class.
They will not be consistent at school. 3 months at home, 3 months before they go to the school. When they are at home, the parents, what will I do to them? Will I come back home and take care of them, or what do I do? You see, so personally, I am not against anything, but I'm thinking of how it will affect their educational quality.
If we have enough infrastructure, all this thing wouldn't happen. So to me, government should find money somewhere to, improve our infrastructure deficit, so that they will all go once. We have Easter holidays, we have Christmas holidays. So who is going first and second? What about the holiday that we normally have? So to me, it will bring problem to our educational sector.
They all have to go to school. They don't have to stay at home at all.
Some teachers and students there. So a lot, I beg your pardon, parents and students there. A lot of questions are actually begging for answers. So thankfully, we have the Deputy Education Minister, Dr. Yankah, who will be joining me shortly, armed with all of those answers. But join the conversation by sending your questions to this WhatsApp line that's on your screen. It is 050-564-6330. That is 050-564-6330, and we will read them out to him and get a response for you. In the meantime, though, former Minister for Education, Professor Yankah, is the latest to join the calls for wider consultations on the double-track system. Professor Yankah, in a Facebook post, said a national principle debate that is devoid of insults is necessary, and we will be reading to you. Well, that is the message on Facebook, the message that Professor Yankah put on the Facebook. We will be reading that to you when I get a closer look at it. But in the meantime, let's listen to President Akufo-Addo justifying the double-track senior high school system, which, of course, we're expecting government will introduce in September this year.
This multi-track, double intake organization that we're going to make from the beginning of this academic year, to be able to deal with this large population, inflow of this large population of new students. And that is going to allow us to do 2 or 3 things. First of all, create room for all the students. Secondly, reduce class sizes, downsize class sizes, and that is the key to the quality is that we will have smaller classes, teachers that are capable of teaching them. And I'm sure that in 2 or 3 years' time, the comment made by the representative of the teachers about the quality of examination passes will be a thing of the past. So I want you to support this dual intake system as being a very, very efficient way of dealing with this large class of people, and also encouraging the community to take advantage of the policy and send their children to school.
All right, so let me read through to you the Facebook post by Professor Kojo Yankah. This is how it goes. He says, double-track education at SSS level on my mind. As an educationist and also a president of Adisada Old Boys Association, very much in touch with real challenges on campus, I am convinced that government needs to do more consulting before embarking on the proposed double-track system. Some years back, we spent 7 years on campus. Then came SSS, which gives students 3 years on campus. Ghana has not recovered from the deficit in quality. Now the new system means 6 months in school, a month on vacation, 6 months on vacation. We need to treat cautiously. We need to treat cautiously. The finance minister is reported to have said elsewhere that the program should have been, quote, targeted, which defeats the universal free SHS proposal. Can we all have a national principle debate devoid of insult? But wait a minute, he says. September is round the corner for the children to go to school. Now, Professor Yankah is not the only person demanding a wider consultative meeting with stakeholders. Former President John Dramani Mahama, in a tweet, is also demanding same. And let me read that tweet to you. He says, introducing shift system for SHS, it doesn't help to continue to implement this all-important free SHS program on an ad hoc basis. It is not too late to hold a comprehensive national consultation to forge a consensus on a sustainable framework for its implementation. Hashtag Ghana. That is a tweet by former President John Dramani Mahama. In the meantime, it is emerging that the double-track system will not be implemented in all senior high schools. Now, Chairman of the Education Committee, Stephen Siaka, has been speaking about this.
It is nice people are talking about it. It means the system is good. That's why people are concerned about it. But the tracking system is not a new thing in the world, but it's a new thing in Ghana. Yeah, before the tracking system, everybody, what they were all saying is that, oh, the free SHS has brought about congestion. Congestion is in the lip of everybody's, and people were talking about it. So what do you do as a policymaker? You have to sit down and make sure, what should I address? You should address the decongestion philosophy. So in addressing it, the double-track system has come. It's not a system where people will go to school in the morning and just go in the evening.
Because that's the point, that even that system has been phased off, so because everyone thought it was terrible at the basic school level.
It's not a system like that. It's a ministerial program, and that's what we are going to adopt. And it will not affect the continuous students. For all we know, it's not all schools that may even practice the double-track system, because some people may have extra capacity because they have less population. So you have less population and you have extra capacity. There's no need to practice the double system there, the track system there. So that it is done in such a way that the first freshers, while they are at home preparing, the second years, the continuous student will be in school. By the time they reopen, the continuous student will be out. And then the decongestion policy we are talking about will be there, because there will be free chairs, there will be available classrooms here and there, and then the smaller size of classroom, so that people can, teachers can mark, demand corrections, and then remark again, and then be able to properly teach the students.
You're still watching The Pulse with me, Gifty Andopia. The Deputy Minister is already here in the studio. He joins me right after this break. Do send your questions in and I'm going to read it to him and take the answers. Please stay. I'll be back in a few seconds. My phone is ready. I have lots of your questions. I'll be putting them to him. Dr. Educhum is joining me in the studio now so we can talk about this quickly. Sir, thank you so much for your time, for coming. And let me just start with, I think one of the major issues has been about the broader consultations, wider consultations, and teachers who are quite agitated about whether or not you're going to recruit more. Let's begin on the wider agitation. We've heard Professor Kojo Yankah speak about it. Yankah, sorry. You've also heard former President former President Mahama speak about it. It's like they seem to have a consensus on that particular one. How do you respond to that?
I mean, both of them are from the same party, so I'm not surprised that they seem to have a consensus. We also have a consensus among the group whose name you didn't mention. Professor Anamwa Mensah, Professor, the eminent educationists. They've also made their views clear. So there are consensus on both sides of the divide, if you want to call it that way. But I'm excited about the fact that people are having a debate about this. It speaks to one big issue, and the issue is that people are concerned about the future of our nation. And that is why when you roll out a policy, they say, hey, can we understand this? When I really appreciate the comments made by the former Minister of Education, Prof. Nana, when she said that, I don't understand this policy very well. Can you guys give us further and better particulars? Explain it to us further. Can we understand? That is the kind of dialogue that leads to a destination that is good for all. When somebody who has been a former Minister of Education is saying, I want to know more, and she deserves to know more, Ghanaians deserve to know more about this policy. But I want to start on the premise that there were choices to be made. And the president of the land, after being presented with the facts, saw the wisdom in endorsing a system that will ensure that no qualified child will be left behind this year.
So the president chose this particular option because it's the only option available?
The option that will not, actually, let me tell you, if you are a government that is not so much concerned about children staying at home, you have other options. Because the option that has been traditionally used in this country over the years is what is called a cutoff. The cutoff option works simply this way. Before school year ends, headmasters will be asked to disclose how many seats they have in our schools. And invariably, most of them, if their schools are congested, will either give you the names of or the numbers of students who are hesitant graduating that year, or they may even give you less if they feel they are congested and therefore they can't take in more students. So if you look at, let's say, pre-sec, and 500 students left this year, a headmaster may say, okay, give me only 500, or give me less than 500, because even when the 500 were here, I did not have enough space for them.
So that was the system.
This is how it has been. So once they get those, they give you those numbers. Then you look at the spaces you have, of course. You add it all up. That tells you that, let's say I have 200,000 spaces. Okay. Based on what the headmasters have declared.
Sorry to interrupt you. I don't want you to go over the system that exists, but because
I have to contrast it
I understand,
for your
because
people, for your audience, because this is
and I'm saying that because I have hundreds of questions here from viewers for you to answer.
If they understand, some of them may not even like me to answer, because I answer the questions. Okay. If they understand the concept and the rationale, the questions will be answered in the course of the discussion.
So let me see if I understand you.
Yeah. So
what happened before, or the options available?
The options, there are two options. Two options.
To cut off?
Use a cutoff. So in this particular instance, we have 277,000 seats available. Okay. Whilst we are based on the tremendous growth in the numbers of students writing the BECE, which stems from the fact that the previous government introduced receipts, private. So BECE candidates can do a receipt, like WASI does, which is a great idea. Over the years, it has been like an average of 1,000. This year, it was 11,000. More students want to go to school, therefore the receipt numbers went up. And then the regular students number also went through the roof. So we had about 13% growth instead of the usual 1 or 2% growth, 468,000 to 521,000. Projections shows, based on analysis, that out of the 521, you may have about 472,000 who will want to go to school or who will be placed to go to school. Now, out of the 472,000, we have 277,000 declared vacancies. You have a gap of 181,000. The first option you have is to say that I'll use a cutoff. Cutoff in this instance will mean, even though we project that 472,000 students will pass the exam and will be eligible for placement, we just have to look at the cutoff and say, hey, let's use 22. If we use 22, can we just save the 277,000? If we do 28, maybe this number. That's the first choice you have. Now, if you take that choice and you are not worried about education of the son of Yankah Mensah from Bonkoko, then you cut off the 181,000.
Okay, just a second.
It will become
just a second. I need to interrupt you again, once again,
yes.
because the foundation and the background you're giving us, this discussion has been going on for some time. So people have the foundation. And what they don't understand is they have specific areas of misunderstanding, which most of them have sent to me. I don't want us to bore our viewers with so much of the background because I believe they understand.
I'm sorry.
Because I believe that the answers will come with the questions. Shall I read the questions to you?
Let me give you the structure first.
Okay.
Because if you don't, the questions will not be well situated even for you to ask it the way it should be asked. So in order for us to accommodate the 181,000, then we decided that there should be a dual enrollment or dual track or dual intake for Form 1.
Okay.
Form 3 students' schedule will not be impacted. Form 3 students will use all the 3 terms.
Okay.
They will, because of the WASI and preparation for WASI, nothing will impact Form 3 students. When GES announced the calendar, they will go to the school the same way they've gone over the last 2 years. Nothing will affect Form 3.
Okay.
Then you come to Form 2. That is where the semester system begins. All Form 2 students will go to school the same day as Form 3 students. No change in regards to the date of the beginning date. However, they will be on a semester calendar, which means that they're going to go to school 4 months non-stop, which is 81 days, Form 2. Okay. After they finish the 4 months non-stop, then they have 2 months of vacation.
Okay.
And then second semester begins, they go another 4 months non-stop, all Form 2s. And then they take their 2 months of vacation. So it's not what Prof. Yankah is saying that you go to school for 6 months and you stop for 6 months. No, semester works 16 weeks. The only difference here is between them and Form 3. And they're doing 8 months a year, 4 months non-stop, 2 months vacation. That is how it works for Form 2 students.
Okay. So Form 3 students are on a normal schedule.
Yes.
Form 2 students are doing 4 months of school non-stop and then 2 months vacation. So the problem really is that Form 1 perhaps.
Form 1.
Okay.
Yeah. So you come to Form 1, and the rationale behind the whole idea, there are twofold reasons. Schools currently, parents have complained, not parents, the media, you guys have gone around, you've shown this where their students are congested, classrooms are congested. So what we decided to do with this more dual track or dual enrollment system was to decongest our schools, 1. And 2, increase enrollment in Form 1. And some people will say, how can you increase enrollment and decongest at the same time? It doesn't make sense. This is how we do it. You have a school of 3,000. Seniors or the final year, 1,000. Second year, 1,000. The third year, 1,000. That is the current enrollment, 3,000. We are able to increase it to 3,500. And at the same time, make sure that at any point in time, you don't have more than 2,700 students, 270 students in school. So the 750 is the magic number. That is why with the 1,500 Form 1 students, you divide them into 2, 750 each. The first group, that would be what we call Track 1 or Track A, will begin school with Form 2, Form 3, and themselves, of course. So at that time, you only have 2,750. And the question will be, what is happening to the other half? Which is a legitimate question to ask. Now, the other half will have a front-loaded vacation. So even though they have not started, their vacation is front-loaded.
So they
have
already,
2 months.
So
they
go
for orientation.
Vacation.
Yes.
Okay.
They go for the orientation, get their prospectus, and they have 2 months to prepare to go to school. So in a way, you have front-loaded their vacation. This is because we are starting. When they do the cycle and they go to Form 2 and Form 3, you won't see it as front-loaded because it will have come at the end of the academic year, and then they get their vacation. So essentially, what we are seeing here is that the 750 students begin, track A of Form 1 begins and go the half of a semester with Form 2. When they get to the mid-semester, they do their mid-semester exams, and then they have a break at that point. That's the first group.
Okay.
When the first group is doing that, when they do that, the second group now comes in at the point where the first group has done their mid-semester exams, and they continue from there to do their full semester of 4 months.
Okay.
Because they've already front-loaded their 2 months vacation. So for half of the year, which is within the period of 6 months, where the first semester straddles, they've done front-loaded their vacation, and the only thing that they have to do now is to do their full semester of work, which is 16 weeks.
Okay.
By the time they finish halfway through their 16 weeks, the first group that took their vacation to allow them to come in has also finished their vacation. At that point in time, Form 2 is done with their vacation, which enables the first group to come back and be there with the second group of Form 1 students, finish the semester with them. They all take their final exams at that point. So if you take, in a period of 6 months, within which you situate the first semester, you have first semester of Form 2 students done, they finish their vacation. Form 1, first group have done now, they finish their vacation, and the second group has also finished their vacation. You've covered Form 3, Form 2, Form 1. Every one of them, by the first 6 months of the school year, has done a full semester of 4 months and 2 months of vacation. So it's never 6 months of vacation and 6 months in school. No.
So I guess Professor Yankah gets to, have a level of understanding there. That is, if it does satisfy him. So this is the foundation that you are laying. Form 1, you say that 750 each. The front-loaded vacation. It means that you've not even started school, but you're enjoying the vacation. Yeah,
because when the year ends, then it becomes a cycle.
Okay, so around that time, especially for the beginning, what would they be doing?
They will go and get their prospectus, and at that point, they have their vacation. They're on vacation just like anybody else.
But you've not even started school when you're on vacation.
Yes.
Isn't that feels a little odd? And you've explained that that's because it is the beginning.
Yes.
So does government have a plan for the beginning to engage these young people who will be at home? And parents there are other issues concerns that parents have about keeping their children at home while others are in school.
And
2 months.
Others are in school, but they're also going to go and
but
do
is
their
there
work.
a plan?
No, the plan is very simple. When students are on vacation, but this happens to be the first year. As I told you, at the end of the year, it begins a cycle. You don't even see it because they will end their year and then they will begin their vacation, so you don't even see it. The first point here is to be able to do a very good orientation for them so that they don't feel like, why am I not in school? If you've gotten accepted to Achimota is going to give you all the things that you need. And actually, we've worked with NAPCO and other organizations. What we are looking at, they'll have some package to begin to work on it at home before they come. So yes, we will find a way to engage them because by the time the year ends and they are going to Form 2, it's a natural flow. But in this particular instance, it will appear as if I haven't gone to school. And what am I doing? So we'll have to give them, that's why the orientation will be robust and assignments and other things will be given by school so they will feel engaged as they wait and go. It's just like...
I heard somewhere that you are creating learning centers in communities for people to go and study there. Is that correct?
It's a vacation. We'll give them materials through their schools. We are not going to create learning centers across the country.
Okay. I'm going to take the questions that people have sent through, but quickly, there's also this issue about not complaining that the same teachers are going to have to be taught. They're saying that you're recruiting some 8,000 teachers. Is that correct?
The same teachers are not going to be teaching.
Okay.
All teachers will flow with their students. And in fact, teachers are going to have a longer vacation because the kids are doing the same. So if you happen to teach Form 2, when Form 2 goes on vacation, you are gone. You are not required to teach. Okay. We did the mathematics, and it shows that we need about 9,000 teachers to fill the gap. Okay. And NABCO people that are coming in are tutors, which will help the students who are struggling and that kind of thing. But essentially, what is going to happen is that if you happen to be on track A from 1, as a teacher, you are on track A from 1. Students take a break. You take a break. So teachers are not in any way going to be negatively impacted. It's just, I mean, we have a culture where some people want to be out at a certain time. If that is the case, then somebody will feel like, oh, I used to go on vacation around this time, and that's changed. But other than that, in terms of the impact on them, the load of work per day will increase, but you are compensated for it by the number of days that you have off. So if you look at the number of instructional days in the regular system, in the term system, you have 1,080. People go to work from 8, they close at 2. That is the normal school day. Okay. Under the semester system, the normal school day will be from 8 to 4. We added 2 hours. 1 hour will be for lunch and other things in between, and then you have 1 hour more instructional day. Instructional contact with students. Which is what the teachers are fighting, that they weren't given prior information. I mean, how you give prior information, you talk to gov't and the other teacher unions. We met with them, and they said they are going to consult their constituents, which is their teachers. And get back to you. And get back. But they didn't even get back to you before you rolled out. I mean, you put this out. No, but as Mr. Angel Kabonu said rightly on Asempa when I was there with him, he said, and I'm grateful to him for saying, he said unions do not determine government policy. But when government policy comes, we look at how it will impact us and we negotiate. So basically. Okay. So are you recruiting? Of course. You're recruiting? Yeah, we're recruiting. Okay, 9,000 teachers or 8,000 About 9 teachers, close to 9,000. About 9,000 8,000 and something. Yeah. Okay, yesterday someone sent me a message, even though we didn't ask for messages yesterday. The person sent a message and said he went to the Ministry of Education and he was told that there was no recruitment going on there. So because this will be school specific, because some schools, we've recruited 19,000 teachers and staff for senior high school the last 3 months. Wow. 5 months ago, we began. Some of them are being paid, others are processing their IDs. So we've already recruited a lot of teachers, especially math and science teachers. So this is going to be school-specific, where we have a software that schools are using to do their schedule. We're meeting with them from next week to really meet assistant headmaster, academic headmaster of IT, and the IT coordinator. They are going to meet to develop their school schedules under this new system, so that everybody will know who is going to teach what. So that's going to be front-loaded. But when Achimota, for example, does their schedule, then they will tell us that if we don't get 2 math teachers on track A, we will not have a full complement. So Achimota then will have the opportunity to recruit that number of teachers, of course, with guidelines from Ghana Education Service. So Ghana Education Service is not going to do a central recruitment. Okay. This will be school-specific to meet the needs of the schools that are going to be part of the double track system. Some schools are not going to be part. Okay. There are some schools, we have 541 schools that are estimated to be part of this. All the category A schools that parents so much desire are going to increase enrollment by 50%. Okay. So if you wanted, let's say, Bri girls that parents want so bad, you have a better chance now, because a Bri girls is going to get 50% more. I know Prempe and Opokuar and all those people want to go there. Now they have a better chance. Wesley girls. better chance.
All right, let me just, I don't want to hijack this moment because this moment really is for our viewers at home to get access to the Deputy Minister and to get those answers. So let me just start with the questions that we have there, even though my questions are not yet exhausted. Samuel Sebwabe from Salo in the Volta region says that please ask the Minister, with the number of topics in the syllabi, will the number of topics in the syllabi be removed? So we're going to take about 5 questions. Reduce, going to take about, is that okay for you? About 5?
Don't have time quickly. Okay, I can take notes.
Okay, so first of all, he's asking whether the syllabi will be reduced. Big Boy from Somanya is saying that since there will be 2 sets of staff, will there also be accompanying set of staff bungalows? So staff bungalow. So first of all, we have the syllabi, staff bungalow. Okay, so Jonathan, is it Jonathan? I think it's Jantwa Jaman Drobo. Says, please, what are you going to do to continuing students? Teachers are going to do double job for 2 years. I think that question has been answered already. Koka Bismarck from Nungwa is asking, is the Education Ministry saying the double track education system is going to enhance effective and efficient teaching and learning of students? Yes, they definitely believe so. And my final one for this set, Cornelius in the Volta region says, please ask the Minister if they have qualified teachers to run the program and how many of them. Would the double track take off across all SHS in the country? Okay, that's about 5, I believe. Even though some of them you've already answered.
Maybe they were not watching.
No, otherwise we won't have other people getting their questions answered. So we want to squeeze, we want to as much as possible squeeze the time.
Let me take the last one to your list. Your viewer, all senior high schools in the country know it's estimated that we only use about 541. The rest of them will still do the semester, but it's not going to be double entry. Track.
Okay, that's a very quick and easy answer.
And qualified teachers, yes. I just want your viewers to know that I can categorically say that we don't have a shortage of qualified teachers in this country. Because you see, universities have trained people in basic education with bachelor's degree. But because we are not required to hire them, invariably what happens is that they are sitting at home. The NAPCO recruitment that is being conducted, 43,000 teachers applied. 43,000. So we have more than enough to help us do the job. Okay. And teachers are not going to do double job. No, they actually going to be more relieved because they have a longer vacation. Staff bungalows.
But they are going to do 2 extra hours. Teachers are going to do 2 extra hours a day.
And then they get 16 weeks of vacation instead of 12.
Okay. So
that's the trade-off.
That's the trade-off. The only issue here, it appears, is that the teacher organization, the teacher unions feel that they should have gotten back to the ministry with their response after consulting with their teachers.
Their consultation is a long process, and by that time, you guys will have told us, why did you tell us early enough so that we can educate the parents? So,
okay, bungalow, teacher bungalow.
Not all teachers live in bungalows. Maybe he's in a school where he's very fortunate that all his teachers live in bungalows. Not all teachers do. The government is working on it. We have been able to do some bungalow construction. We'll keep on doing. And as a matter of fact, as part of this question, I would really like your viewers to know that we are not slackening in the pace of developing infrastructure. gov't is securing $500 million to complete all buildings that are at the 70% level of completion across the country. So there's going to be a massive infrastructure development because of the approach that gov't has now designed, which will enable them to borrow against projected revenues, do the construction within 2-3 years, at most 5 years, revert most schools to single track. So it's not like we are waiting. No, we're going to do the infrastructure. Because like other nations, what you do is that you just give yourself a breathing room and ensure that you can accommodate all students, but you do not stop school construction. You begin school construction immediately you start your double track.
I've heard the minority spokesperson on education, former education minister, Deputy Education Minister Kujetwa Blakwa say that if you look at the budget review, there was nothing allocated to infrastructure.
No, my brother Kujetwa Blakwa should know that 3 weeks ago, there was an advert in the dailies asking people to express interest in helping the Ministry of Finance borrow $500 million for gov't. to complete all its buildings. It was in the daily. So that's going to happen. Oh, my brother, syllabi is not going to be reduced. No way. That is why we've made the day longer. And in fact, as a method, as you make the day 7 hours, if you multiply it by the number of days the students stay in school, you are going to get more instructional time. The contact hours will increase from 1,080 hours to 1,134 hours. So if anything, maybe we'll add something more to the syllabi. But no, we'll maintain the syllabi. We'll make sure your teachers are supporting you. And I think that person may be a student. I just want you to know that because we know there's extra effort needed to complete the syllabi, we're also going to give your schools intervention grants so students who are struggling will get extra support from their teachers.
From NABCO employees?
Oh, no, not really.
Recruits?
Oh, no, from the teachers themselves.
From the teachers themselves.
That's very different from the NABCO. The NABCO one will be an added on.
Okay. So William Boydu from Oda says, I want to know if all senior high schools in Ghana will be enrolled in this program scheme. The minister has said, the deputy minister has said that is not so. 541 schools. Maybe, I mean, I don't know if the ministry can, you know, publish
the names.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea.
I think when we publish the names, then everybody will know where you're looking at. If you belong to this particular school, then you know that you're on the double or you're remaining, you're at where the status quo remains. Okay, so Derry from Laura, I believe that your question has been answered. So Derry from Laura now says, does that mean that there's going to be no Christmas holidays and Easter holidays for some students? And also, how many years are they going to attend school? So Christmas and Easter, let's go to Inusa, I guess, from Hohoi. He says, I think the government should take performance of the student into consideration before admitting them so as not to compromise their quality. That's number 2. John Apau Watson is asking, when will the recruitment of the 8,000 teachers start?
I think he wants a job.
Okay, so we have recruitment, Easter holidays, and some other one I've forgotten. Godwin from Mepe, that will be the number. I think the 4th question says he wants to know from the minister how the WASI exam is going to be conducted for the double track system, double track students. So.
Okay, thank you so much. I love these questions. Very intelligent questions. Christmas and Easter will always be there. It will not be eliminated. We factored it into the schedule. It doesn't really matter the track that you are on. You will still enjoy your Easter and Christmas vacation. Some of them, the Christmas and Easter may fall within the time that they already have the vacation. If it doesn't, you still go home and celebrate your Christmas and Easter.
But the other time, Christmas will already, I mean, the time that you want to be with your family and everything would have already passed.
No, they will still, all of us will enjoy Christmas vacation, so I will keep students in school.
Okay, so at that time, there will be a break for everyone to go home.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay. So, then, question about Easter and Christmas, I think you have an answer?
Yes. Somebody said performance into consideration before you admit them. Wow. You don't do that. They took the BECE, they passed, they come in, but what you do is intervention. We should not allow students to sink or swim in our high schools. When they come in and they happen to have gone to a school where they were not adequately prepared, what you do is that you test them, and these are best practices that some schools are using in Ghana, right here. Okay. Wesley Girls is a school where the headmaster shared with our chief director in terms of the practices that he's using to really support the students who have been assigned to them from public schools. You see, they come in, you assess them, you do diagnostic, you know where they are, and then you begin your intervention immediately. If they can't read, that is where your NABCO tutors will come in. You provide that information to the teacher and understand that these students are not writing well, offer them extra writing courses. That is the international best practice. That is what is done around the world. And schools in Ghana, some schools in Ghana are doing that so well. That is how you really help students. But you don't tell them that, you came in and you are not up to where I want you to be. Go home. No, you can't do that. Then when recruitment of teachers starts, this to me is somebody who wants to be recruited. But as I said earlier, next week we are meeting with schools to do their schedule. Once they do their schedule and we know the deficit that they have, then recruitment begins, and people will then get the opportunity to apply to those specific schools. So you're not going to have a situation where you are sent from Accra and then you say, Oh, I didn't want to go to Jachi Pramso, and I come from.
So are you going to publish the names of the schools,
and
the 541 schools next week?
I will not say that I'm going to talk to Ghana Education Service and ask them to do that for me, but I will not say next week. I know Gifty wants her readers to
people,
get it.
People really want to know.
To get it.
Yes, people really want to know.
It's a very good suggestion.
That's a crucial, I think it's a crucial part of this.
This is very important, and I'm a listening person. I listen to you. I appreciate your suggestion.
Right.
And I'll tell them it's Gifty who suggested it.
Please do. but I have a few questions here. So this lady says.
Wasi and double.
Oh, Wasi and, okay.
Oh, yeah, Wasi and double. First of all, the first year students will not have any problem. The final year students, because we are maintaining the same thing. In fact, we've been able, my minister, when we came to the ministry, actually made a request of WAEC, and they approved. That's why this year exam began in April. So it's going to be the same schedule. It's not going to be negatively impacted.
I hope that your question has been answered, but I'm going to take what I have on the prompter here. But quickly, this one is saying, Mr. Minister, you said we should all come together and dialogue over this, but you begin by saying President Mahama and Professor Yankah are both from the same party. So to wait, there is no sense in what they are saying. Is
nope, I didn't say that. The Gifty was telling me that there's consensus that something needs to happen and consultation. And I said
there seems to be a consensus.
Yeah, you don't do consensus when the two of them have the same way of thinking. What I was saying was that if you're talking about consensus, then you should say that Prof. Anamwa Mensah, Prof. Ade, Prof. Phoebe, they are eminent educationists, and they've all spoken to this. And if in fact their views align with President Mahama and then Prof. Yankah, that is when you say there's consensus. But on that score, we are listening government. I've taken notes here. You remember I've taken the suggestion of the presenter, Gifty, and I'm going to make sure it's done. The whole thing, our mindset, philosophy of at the ministry is this. We want the children to succeed. So I really, truly don't care who the suggestions come from, so far as it will ensure that we do a better job. At the end of the day, if the ministry does so well, do you think somebody will say it was because of Gifty?
They will never do that.
No, they will never do that.
In the meantime, Enoch has a question from Bamboy. He says that from analysis by the Deputy Minister, it looks like the second batch of the first years will stay at home for 4 months straight away. My question is, what would they be doing? Which is what someone also says that some students
they won't stay home for 4 months, 2 months.
2 months.
No,
okay.
So it's like a long vac. It's not.
Okay.
It's
so
not,
it is 2 months.
Not
but that is a question that seems to be on the heart of a lot of people.
It's 2 months, please.
So someone is also asking, so within these 2 months, what would they be doing? Some are saying that.
I already said that they will, because 2 months is their vacation. You see, in this country, what has happened? Vacation, you have vacation classes, and a whole lot of things happen. They are never government sponsored, right?
Okay.
But society has a way of really giving them the opportunity to do more. Okay. However, we have also indicated that they will do an orientation, the schools will help them with some assignments so that they are not idle. But please, it's not 4 months and it's not 3 months. It's 2 months.
It's 2 months. People are actually suggesting that they do practicals. And I mean, can you put that down so that I read for you the other questions?
In some high schools in other jurisdictions, high school students do attachments, right? And some schools, I'm sure, will take advantage of this very well to make sure that the high school students can get practical insights into the courses that they are teaching. But this is not something that we are mandating from the top, but we will meet with headmasters and see how every school does something unique for their students.
Okay, so out of these 541 schools, you're going to have to go around and see what works best for the students whilst they wait for 2 months. In the meantime, Jonas is saying, I want to ask, if students will now start lessons from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., what are the plans for extra curriculum like cadet training, football training? Someone earlier asked about PE. Isabel from Sunyai, so training and extracurricular activities. Sunyai, Isabel from Sunyai is asking, she wants to know if they just want to send every student from JHS to SHS without necessarily identifying their potentials. What about the technical and vocational skills? So technical and vocational skills. The no name says, please ask the minister if the WASI timetable will change with the introduction of the double track system. I've been listening to Dr. Educhum trying to explain the double track system, and I'm not convinced that Ghana has the resources. Has this been implemented elsewhere? Yes, it has. They say it's been done in the US, in Australia, etc. What systems have been put in place? You are asking. Is it possible to get this system online? Form 1 and 2 needs a lot of work. 40 days at home. This is not a university. Okay.
Good opinions. We're a great country with diverse opinion and ideas, and when it's all the confluence of it is what makes us the great nation called Ghana. So I respect the opinions of everyone. Extracurricular will not be negatively impacted in country that has been done. Extracurricular has not been impacted, especially when you talk about the fact that athletes normally do it early morning. If you're beginning school at 8, a lot of athletes, when they're doing their prep, they do it early morning before the sun rises. And they want to do it late when the sun has also set, because they want to avoid the heat. So there's nothing that will stop extracurricular activities. You talk about TVET. We have a major TVET transformation going on now in Ghana. We have 17 ministries that were handling TVET. All their schools are coming to the Ministry of Education under the TVET service, which will be a unique situation where all these schools will be handled by a different agency and not even Ghana Education Service. Emphasis is being placed on TVET. About 2 months ago, there was a $92 million loan to equip technical, vocational education institutions across the country. Recently, the president did actually open a school, launch an Avatar program where the WA Polytechnic has been equipped. What I'm saying is this: TVET is so fundamental to the success of this country that we're doing everything to ensure it gets its rightful place. I figure the person who asked this question about TVET is interested in TVET, and there has never been a better time for TVET transformation than now.
Right.
There's also a question about, was it WASI?
He wants to know if the WASI syllables of WASI schedule will be...
Oh, no, it won't be negatively affected anywhere. We've already said that for this year, you have students who are going to go the traditional route, normal. Right. And when even you want to look at Form 2, if you look at their schedules, it will not negatively impact their WASI. Okay. I'm wrapping up.
I'm going to take, we did a Vox. We went out to speak to people to find out what they thought about it. I think basically parents, what they think about this. We will listen to them, and then we'll take your final words on your final response for the parents. But someone is asking whether your children are going to be in this system.
How many children do I have?
I don't know. Says,
so they shouldn't worry about my
He wants to know if your children are going to be in this one. And this guy...
My child is in primary school.
Is in primary school. Okay. Well, I hope you have had an answer. Let's hear some parents on this particular matter.
As a matter of fact, it's going to cause a lot of troubles. But I think those who made that suggestion, thought of something before. It's a way of solving a problem. It's a way of solving a problem. But what are these children going to do within the 80 days when they are idle at home? That's what is going to create a problem for us. If there could be a possibility of engaging these children, let's say in some technical institutions or some what sort of occupation somehow. You have to occupy them. If you don't occupy the children for 80 days, there is going to be a mess.
As a parent, I think it's very good. This will give an opportunity to every child in Ghana to attend school. You know, already the schools are so occupied. I can remember when this free SHS was introduced, a lot of people didn't even get admission, especially those who wanted to be at the boarding houses. The schools were so choked that so many people have to even rent houses around the schools and the net. But now, if it is so, I think it will give an opportunity to every child in Ghana. At least you go for 80 days, you come home, and allow people to go and then attend. This will be very important. Like the same thing like Kwame Nkrumah. When Kwame Nkrumah introduced this free compulsory school in the 3 northern regions, some of us really benefited from it.
I think as a parent, I really do not like it. One, I'm asking myself so many questions because myself, I'm a teacher by profession. And I'm just asking myself, are they going to use the same teachers or is going to be another set of teachers?
It's going to be another set of teachers.
Another set of teachers. But then, well, even that, we have school systems. So who goes within the school system, the normal system, and then who goes at the double tracking? Are there other options?
Happens to be a new system.
Yeah, I agree. Are there other options? Are there other options? If, for instance, yes, everybody likes free things, but free things come with a price.
Are there no other options? The option is to cut them off. That is what government makes us understand. Doc, I would like you to respond quickly to that and then answer for me this question about why you're still negotiating with the current teachers if you have recruited the 19,000 that you said you have.
We are not in negotiation with teachers. We are in dialogue with them so that we can remove all the misconceptions. If you look at what this woman who happens to be a teacher is saying, talking about, are we going to do double work? No, madam, you are not going to do double work. You will be more relaxed than ever. If you want to go to Hawaii to enjoy your vacation, you can enjoy. Okay. So you have a longer period. Now,
so right now, what you're doing with the current teachers is just to get their buy-in.
Oh, yes, of course.
But I think they want something extra?
I mean, at this point,
for the 2 hours,
you see, you are going to get 16 hours of vacation instead of 16 days of 16 weeks of vacation.
Weeks of vacation instead of 12 weeks.
It's a good trade-off. You teach an hour extra because you see, the other hour which makes it 8 is for lunch and other things. So you teach extra hour a day to earn 18 days more of vacation.
Okay.
So I think it's a good trade-off. But as I said, I respect teachers and the work they do and the tremendous pressure that is always on them. And I want to assure them that we are going to decongest schools so that the pressure will be less. Okay. In addition to that, teachers, we're also allocating grants or monies for extra classes that will also be coming to you because we are not using anybody but you for extra classes. So I believe that as people get to understand this policy and get the nuts and bolts all understood, it's going to be a good program. Okay. And people are going to understand that. I asked this question that if this happened in US, what would they do? They would do what we've done. They've been doing it.
Speaking of where,
Japan.
Let me bring you to Africa. Yes. Mm-hmm. In Kenya, we understand. Mm-hmm. You use the Kenyan. The ministry has used the Kenyan example to speak a lot. Mm-hmm. In Kenya, we understand that what they practice is a curriculum-based thing. So from JHS, what they're going to senior high school, the kids at JHS know or have identified an area that they want to focus on. Ours is quite different. We seem to be focusing more on the numbers rather than the curriculum and how it moves.
No, actually, in terms of the double track, that's a different thing. But when you talk about Kenya's example, career focus, we are doing more arts and business, which I personally feel needs to be changed. The curricular reform that we are doing is going to change that. Okay. So that is not actually the kind of comparison we're doing. But basically, what we are saying is this. We have two schools of thought.
Are these your final words?
Yes.
Okay.
One school of thought says, until you get more buildings, tell 181 children to stay at home. Their future, we don't care about. We are well off. We are intellectuals. Our children are taken care of. We don't know anybody who can pay school fees. So just keep them at home. Let us have our peace of mind. Then there's another school of thought that is saying no child qualifier should be left behind. And therefore, if there's an innovative strategy, that will allow us to bring all the 181,000 in, and at the same time decongest schools, and also open spaces in more desirable schools for our students, so that a student who never had a chance, this is a life-changing experience. A student who never thought they would go to Augustine's is going to go this year because Augustine's is increasing its enrollment, a school that I never got to go to. So the bottom line for us is this, is a win-win. Okay. If you don't understand it, asking for more clarification is legitimate. We want you to understand, because when you understand, you'll be the person who will call into this show and say, I love it. It's going well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for coming, Dr. Oseduchum. He's a very accessible Deputy Minister, I must say. That's the second time he's been on the show, answering your questions directly. I hope that you're satisfied. Indeed, we had loads of hundreds of messages.
If you don't mind,
unfortunately.
I'll come back.
Right?
Oh,
okay, so he doesn't mind coming back some other time so we can take more of these questions if they are still lingering as we go along the line. But we have hundreds of messages. We can't read them all, but I hope that those we've answered a lot of other people's questions as well. This is The Pulse with me, Gifty and Dopia. Take a quick break. I'll be back shortly.